Hey, what's going on, fellas? We're back, and we finally have the official announcement on who the next Dokkan Fest is going to be for the end of November. I'm actually very hype about this, and I'm sure you guys are very excited as well. And of course, we have a lot of things to cover today in the vid. But the first thing to talk about is who exactly is going to be that next Dokkan Fest. Well, we already know who it is. It's going to be none other than the boy BUUHAN. In my opinion, the strongest version, by the way, of Majin Buu throughout the story of Dragon Ball. So he's going to be our next Dokkan Fest in just a few short days' time. And I will say, this is actually a very exciting pick, not just for myself, but for a lot of other people that I speak to. But at the same time, I will also say, for me personally, this was a pick that was completely out of left field. In fact, it was outside of this galaxy for me in terms of what I was expecting because, you know, I made a prediction vid yesterday, if you guys caught that, where I mentioned some ideas for what we could see for the next Dokkan Fest. I mentioned a Cell Saga Tien, maybe a GT Baby, maybe a crossover with someone like Shallot, but the Majin Buu saga, and specifically BUUHAN, this was not something I was expecting, really, but at the same time, you know, BUUHAN, he's a character worthy of a Dokkan Fest. He's actually been a Dokkan Fest in the past, so this is a perfectly acceptable choice for me, and I do love some more Majin Buu Saga busts. We love to see that, so I'm all good with it. But aside from BUUHAN, we also have a Side Banner unit, of course, to accompany him, and that's going to be a very surprising pick, I think, for a lot of people. But it's going to be right here with the Grand Supreme Kai and all of his rotund greatness right there. He's going to be our Side Banner unit alongside the Tech BUUHAN, so this is going to be a very interesting kind of duo right here for the next banner. We don't know what the banner will look like, but we know these two will be a part of it. So that's going to be something right there. But we have a lot of things to talk about, of course, again, today. For one, we have the kits right here. Aside from that, we have a bunch of tabs right here pulled up for categories and banner lookups to look at the banners and stuff. But the first thing I want to do is look at the animations. That's what I want to do first. So we'll go ahead and look at the animations, then we'll look at their kits specifically and break them down. Then we'll move forward talking about the banners, what we could see, the categories, and all that other sort of good stuff. So let's go ahead and check out those animations first and then go from there. Alright, starting off with our Side Banner unit, of course, nothing too crazy right there. Grand Supreme Kai doing his thing, by the way, which is actually kind of nice. I like the fisticuffs there and all that. That's actually a very clean effect, actually, with the Ki Blast kind of doing like a slashing effect later. It's like the Kachin, I think, or whatever it's called. Alright, BUUHAN. No intro, because this is an old OST from, I think, the LR BUUHAN. Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack, looking kind of nice. Let's see here. Okay. Ooh, that's actually a very fire kind of POV shot, I guess. Alright, I like it, I like it. Active skill, okay, what we got here for the active skill? A bit of an absorption technique, okay. Okay, that's good. Wait. Oh my god, this is insane. Buu is kind of smiling a bit devious there, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so we have a new... Is this... Oh, it's a... Okay, so it's a domain activation off the active skill, looks like. And a new form of the character. Alright, this is interesting, wow. I don't think we've ever seen this before in a unit, and that's a sick shot. The art style, too, by the way, that's actually pretty fire. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the animations, overall, I mean, we're all gonna obviously state the obvious, which is these animations are not the peak of peak like we've seen in the Worldwide Celebration campaign or the 9th anniversary and stuff. That's kind of obvious, right? But I will say, these are some of my favorite animations, and especially in terms of BUUHAN. I will explain why in just a moment. But we know with the Grand Supreme Kai, for one, I actually like that we see his eyes. I forget that the Grand Supreme Kai has eyes for a moment, but there you go. He's got that, of course. The slashing effect here with the Ki Blast is really sick, of course. I mean, with BUUHAN, I will say, I think with his kind of super attack effect, I think it's stuck at 1x speed here, so I think at 2x speed will look a lot better. But the way the ghosts kind of flow and everything, the art style for it, the way they're drawn with like the extra kind of thick edges for them to highlight the the shape of it. I mean, it just looks really sick. And of course, I mean, the way they have like that whole POV shot of them like coming towards us and then going to the side, like it just looks so good. The active skill, I think that's going to be stuck at the speed it is, so that's kind of whatever. This is kind of freaky. I'm not gonna lie, this BUUHAN is a freak, I'm not gonna lie, because I mean, bro ripped off his shirt and started grinning like the most devious man on the planet. He's he's gonna be our this is gonna be interesting. I do like the transition, by the way, to what looks like his domain, where it's like we're going inside Buu to see his domain. So I mean, that's kind of cool. Of course, the domain, we'll have to see what it can do in just a moment, but that's cool. The whole the other like super attack right here for like the domain version of Buu, I mean, that's really cool with the way they design and everything. So the animations, they're not peak in terms of quality perhaps, but I really like the conceptual design. Let me put it that way. It's really kind of a nice concept. I like what they've done with some of the art style, so That's going to be me singing its praises. All right, let's go ahead and check out the kits now because we've already wasted enough time talking about the animations. Let's see what the boy himself can do. Let's look at Buuhan first, then we'll go ahead and look at the Grand Supreme Kai. So first off, at the first page, let's see what we got here. So Buuhan, of course, he does have that transfer mechanic. We saw that with the other kind of form of himself. We see the domain right there. We already knew that from the animation, so there is that. Let's go ahead and go through. So leader skill, power absorption or transformation boost, key plus 3 HP attack and defense 170, plus the extra 30% for characters in the artificial life forms or uncontrollable power category. Okay, let me start with the leader skill. I actually am... I'm okay with this leader skill, but it's not the best leader skill, to be fair. And the reason why I'm okay with it is because the categories themselves are really good. Power Absorption is a pretty strong category with a lot of good boos, in my opinion, and Transformation Boost has a lot of nice characters as well. So I'm happy with the leader skill choices. However, I wish Buuhan had a third category. I mean, if we look back at the Lord Slug from last month, right? Like the last month Dokkan Fest Lord Slug, he led Demonic Power, Inhuman Deeds, I believe, and Movie Bosses. And even the Planet Saga Vegeta right before him, he led Planet Saga, I believe, Inhuman Deeds, and Gifted Warriors. So, I mean, if Buuhan had a third category for that main leader skill, I would be a lot happier. But this is not bad. I mean, it's just, I wish there was another category for there. Maybe I'm being a bit picky, but that's just my own kind of thoughts on it. There's that, of course. Let's look at the passive skill. So power merged with Boo. There looks like there's some extra stuff right here, so I'll have to go probably to the next page. In fact, let me go ahead and do that right now. Yeah, this got the whole thing, I guess. So for the passive skill, Ki plus 2, attack and defense plus 200%. Alright, not too shabby. Guards all attacks. This is a permanent effect. This is awesome for Buuhan to have, similar to like Tech Gohan, so that's awesome right there. Additional 58% to stats when attacking, additional 100% to stats, and a high chance to perform a crit, which is a 50% chance to perform a crit for 6 turns from the start of battle. High chance to evade enemies' attack, again this is a 50% chance to dodge, and launches an additional attack that's a great chance to become a super starting from the 7th turn from the start of battle. Plus an additional attack and chance of performing a crit hit increases by 50%, and extreme class allies will gain Ki plus 2 and an additional attack and defense plus 50% when there is another power absorption or transformation boost ally in the same turn. Wow, that is actually a very interesting kind of part of his kit right there. And also the final thing, the more HP remaining when the character receives an attack for the first time, the greater the additional defensive boost received within the turn. Wow, okay, this is interesting. Let me go ahead and finish off the rest of Boo, and then I'll come back to the passive skill. Actually, no, let me go ahead and finish the rest of the kit, now I'll come back to this. So, the active skill, right? Body absorption. We saw that in the animations right there with him taking off his clothing, I guess, and being a bit freaky right there. But can be activated when all the allies attacking in the same turn only are power absorption category characters. So, notice no transformation boost kind of category restriction here like we see with the passive skill. So, that's a bit more limiting perhaps. But also, it can be available starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle. Okay, that's actually really nice. Once you activate the active skill, no damage is being done, looks like, creates the domain inside Majin Buu, pause, and transfers the character's consciousness inward for 3 turns. So, 3-turn domain, it looks like once the domain is gone, then you return to this form of Buuhan right here, I guess. But, yeah, no damage, just transferring it to the other form, so that's going to be very interesting in terms of when you want to use it, perhaps, and how you want to take the most advantage out of that. But, also coming back to the passive skill, I mean, this is really good as far as the passive skill is concerned. My only criticism with Buuhan is he doesn't have any damage reduction, so that those first, like, 6 turns, it could be a bit scary, but I think, you know, 200 plus 300% right there in total, right, combined, plus the extra 58% once he attacks, so I think he has enough stats right there. He's supporting, that's going to be really awesome. Basically, he has enough crit built into his kit to have guaranteed crits for those first 6 turns, potentially. That's going to be awesome. This, you know, restriction does suck, I guess, but at the same time, all you need is one other ally of these 2 kind of categories in the same turn, and these 2 just so happen to be in his leader skill, if you remember, so it all kind of feeds into itself pretty nicely. You do have to kind of work him with only extreme class allies, unfortunately. We'll see with Transformation Boost in just a second, because I have it here. A lot of the category characters, some of the better ones, are super class characters, so that can kind of suck, but all in all, I mean, I think Buuhan is, he's pretty good. This one I'm kind of curious about. I don't know if this is going to be good or bad, because, I mean, the more HP you have, the better your defense will be. That's awesome. Usually, there's some characters where the less HP you have, the better your defense, and that does suck because of like an inverse effect. This is just directly correlated. However, I don't know if that necessarily means he can be trusted in the first slot because he has the guaranteed guard and everything. I don't know if he can be a first slot unit. For sure, I can say confidently he can be a 2nd or 3rd slot unit. No question. It's just the first slot I am kind of curious about, but maybe he'll be able to handle his business regardless. So that'll be awesome, of course, to see what he will be capable of once like the data download is done and everyone kind of like tries him out in like private servers and everything. But that's his passive skill. Not too bad, actually. In fact, I think it's really good. Maybe a contender for the best TOR in the game. Let's keep going. Categories. So So with the categories, we see Power Absorption, Transformation Boost, Artificial Life Forms, Uncontrollable Power. These 4 are in his leader skill, so we expected those, of course. Majin Buu Saga, Final Trump Card, Majin Power, Sworn Enemies, Worldwide Chaos, and Demonic Power. Wow. He actually has... He doesn't have the most robust category-like options available. There are other characters with a lot more categories, to be fair. But he has some of the best sets of categories altogether that he could just have as a unit. I mean, Power Absorption, I would say, is really good with all the boos. Transformation Boost, we already talked about it just a moment ago. It has a lot of options, of course. Artificial Life Forms, you know, Uncontrollable Power is a fantastic category. Demonic Power down here. It's a category that has like a bunch of weird options coming together, but it is actually a very strong category. You know, Lord Slug leads it. You know, the Gohans, they're a part of it. Piccolo's a part of it. Buu-Tank's right here. Buuhan, actually, he's a part of it. So this actually is a very strong category. Of course, Majin Buu Saga, we already know about that one. Majin Power, that just has a lot of nice synergy right there. Final Trump Card, I mean, I think it has a lot of powerful options. I just don't think they work well with each other yet in terms of a leader skill and everything, but there is that category, of course. I would probably say the 2 weakest categories for him are Sworn Enemies and Worldwide Chaos, and those could get buffed sometime in the future, who knows, but he has some really good categories for sure. Alright, the Super Attack Effect, we can't see the full thing, I think that's on the next page, so we'll go ahead and check that out right now. There we go. So, the Super Attack Effect for Buuhan greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes immense damage to the enemy. Pretty straightforward, no stacking of course, but the potential could be there, especially because his attack stat, you see right there, 11,000. That's a pretty decent attack stat right there. We could see with the hidden potential buffs and everything, Buuhan could do some pretty good damage for sure. Also with the domain, right, so this is a 3-turn domain, which is something I really do enjoy, right, not too long. But Power Absorption or Transformation Boost category enemies and allies will gain 15% to stats, and Majin Buu Saga category enemies and allies will also gain 15% to stats. This is actually very interesting. So usually we have some domains where they increase the damage received by a certain type of ally or a certain type of character. Well, those ones can be kind of problematic. I mean, Broly is an example of this, right? 9th anniversary Broly, I believe, he increases damage received by super class allies or something like that, so that can be very problematic in certain situations based on your team comps. This, however, this is just a plain old stat boost, so that can be really nice. It's not going to be probably too crazy in terms of impact, but at the same time, it's going to be not too detrimental to use either. So I think that's going to be a very nice kind of a option to have for Buuhan. And something that's also kind of making me realize something is, with the 2 Lord Slugs, right, you know, a common Demonic Power, going back to like the Demonic Power category, right, let me go back to that. With the Demonic Power category, the leader for it is Lord Slug, right? So with 2 Lord Slugs, each of them will activate their domain automatically for 3 turns. So turn 1 through 3, you get 1 domain to activate, then the other Lord Slug will activate his domain from 4 to 6 in terms of the turns. Then afterwards, you could go ahead and activate Buuhan's active skill right here. And then you could have his domain, so you could have domain after domain after domain, just working really well sequentially. So that could be a very interesting combination. I actually want to pull for this unit potentially, just to kind of see how this will work. So that'll be interesting. Okay, so this is Super Buu. That's what it is. It's Super Buu after the transformation or the transfer. So the unit is going to be the same in terms of the leader skill. Looks like the link set is the same as well. The categories are going to be the same. What will be different is the super attack effect we see right here and the passive skill. So let's look at the passive skill. So Demonic Maze, Ki +6, and attacking defense plus 300%, not 30, 300% boost right there to stats, plus an additional 100% boost to attack when attacking. That's nice. 70% damage reduction flat out. That is so sexy. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of hot. All right, changes AGL key spheres to tech key spheres. We like to see that. Plus an additional defense plus 40% when receiving attack, and a chance of performing a crit increases by 5% per key sphere obtained. Wow. Launches an additional guaranteed super with 3 or more key spheres obtained, and launches another additional guaranteed super with 6 or more key spheres obtained. Launches an additional guaranteed super on top of that when there is a Fused Fighters category enemy, and recovers 30% HP at the end of the turn. Okay, I think based off this passive alone, I think there is a very good, easy argument potentially to have Buuhan be the best TOR in the game, or at least like top 3, top 4, like at least. But I think you can make the argument that he's the best because, you know, he's a tech type unit, right? So no hidden potential, freebie, additional kind of buffs right there. But with the hidden potential system, assuming you get dupes or use the orbs or whatever, he's going to do his 1 super right here, which by the way, this looks like it's going to be a stacking. We'll look at that in just a moment, but he's got 1 super right there. Then he has the 2nd super right here, 3rd super right there, 4th super right there against the Fused Fighter category enemy, and then the 5th one with the hidden potential system. He could do some crazy damage. That's the thing, is Buuhan can, or Super Buu, he could do a crazy amount of damage. I wish this kind of restriction wasn't there, because Fused Fighters, it does limit you in terms of what sort of opponents you could face for the best potential of Buu. But this is a very minor thing to lose, and at the same time, a lot of difficult content happens to sometimes revolve around fused fighters because they're the characters the Dokkan chooses for big celebrations like Worldwide Celebration usually maybe, or like the anniversaries. So this could work really well. Recovers 30% HP, we love to see that. The orb changing works out for himself, so all of this is really good. I want to see how he can perform because I think this guy is going to be a menace. All right, let's keep going. So same thing for the categories. The last thing we have to cover, of course, is that super attack effect. So let's see here. So with his super attack effect in this kind of transformed state for the 3 turns with the domain and everything, massively raises his attack and causes immense damage with a high chance to stun the enemy. So unless I'm mistaken, he's going to stack in his like super boo form. The stacking should persist after the domain goes away and after he reverts back into his Buuhan form. So if that is indeed the case, you could make him incredibly powerful potentially after the domain is over, because then obviously, you know, he'll come back to his Buuhan form, he'll have the stats and everything, the support will return again, and he could just do his damage after getting the stack. So this guy could be he could be a demon. This guy could be a freaking dog. He's gonna be crazy. Oh man, I'm so hyped for this unit. Alright, let's see who else is gonna be. So we have to look at the Grand Supreme Kai as well. So I almost forgot about him. But let's go ahead and look at the boy right here. He's an STR type unit, a god praying for peace. Even though he's shooting out a mouth beam, I'm pretty sure that's not peaceful right there. But it is what it is. Alright, let's see. So leader skill. 130% for the Majin Buu Saga category. Typical side banner stuff. We don't really care. Passive skill though. Strategy against the Majin. Key +1 up to 4, and attack and defense plus 50% up to 200% per superclass ally on the team other than himself. Very interesting. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 200% when attacking, plus an additional defense plus 100% within the same turn after receiving an attack. High chance in general to guard all attacks, which is again a 50% chance. Guards all attacks guaranteed, and launches an additional attack that's a great chance to become a super when there is another Majin Buu Saga ally in the same turn. Majin Buu Saga or Potara allies gain Key +1 and attack and defense plus 40%, plus an additional Key +1 and attack and defense plus 20% for characters also in the Realm of Gods category, and plus an additional 200% boost to attack, and performs a guaranteed crit hit when there is a Majin Power category enemy. Wow. Am I tripping, or is the Grand Supreme Kai good? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the 2 kits here for Buuhan and for the Grand Supreme Kai, but I think both of them are actually pretty good. Maybe I'm going to be underrating them to start things off, but I think they're going to be exceedingly exceptional and really good in certain teams and in certain comps. For Buuhan, we saw he had small restrictions, not too crazy. For the Grand Supreme Kai, we see more restrictions, right, where he really benefits from having a Majin Buu Saga ally. He benefits Majin Buu Saga or Potara allies, especially those in the Realm of Gods category, and obviously he gets that attack boost and the guaranteed crit when facing a Majin Power enemy. So a bit more restrictions there, but, and also I forgot this restriction right here. The per superclass ally, that is technically a restriction, but I mean, it's not too difficult to access. I mean, this is pretty easy. I mean, if we keep going, let's see, what categories is he in? Yeah, Majin Buu Saga, Realm of Gods, Potara Sword Figures. That made sense. I mean, he was not going to have that many categories for sure, and I mean, 3 of them work within his kit. He fits into the category, so there's that. I will say, his categories, he's got 2 really good ones, I would say, and 2 like average ones to mediocre. One, of course, being good one is like the Majin Buu Saga, Realm of Gods is pretty good as well. Potara, I feel like is okay, and then Story Figures is meh. I wouldn't really say there's high praise for these 2 categories for the time being. But, I mean, he could work pretty well with the Majin Buu Saga team, so that's going to work pretty well. It's Realm of Gods, so I'm fine with that, of course. Let's keep going. So, for the super attack effect, greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy, and seals the super guaranteed. So, this can be very helpful in like Super Battle Roads and other sorts of events like that. A gimmicky kind of super effect right there with the sealing. But I actually like what the Grand Supreme Guy has to offer. Obviously, he's the side banner unit. Buuhan is going to be better. But both of them are kind of exceeding my expectations, I would say, as I keep thinking about them more and more. So I'm very hyped to see these guys in game and hopefully pull for them myself, even though I know a lot of people are probably going to say, no, that's a bad idea because we have the 10th anniversary coming very soon. All right. So we got the kits done, we got the animations done. Now we have to talk about some other things in terms of what we can expect from these guys. So the first thing I probably will want to talk about is the banners, right? Obviously, we have to figure out what the banner could hold. So I think the best way to look at this is the banners from the past 2 kind of variations, because with the Plandemic Vegeta, right, he came in and introduced a pity system for these Dokkan Fest, right? So that's going to be probably the case for Buuhan as well. And, you know, with that, a new system was formed with the whole banner format. So, you know, with Vegeta and with Lord Slug, right, we have 10 SSRs in the building for the banner, right, featured SSRs. And the thing about both of them is a lot of these featured SSRs fit into their category leads, right? So for Vegeta, Kui is a part of it, Vegeta right here is a part of it, Super Vegeta, Goku, this Vegeta right here, Full Power Frieza. So 7 of the 10 characters who are featured SSRs fit into the new Dokkan Fest's like category leads and everything, right? For Lord Slug, right? Remember, demonic power, inhuman deeds, and movie bosses. So Metamacha fits there. Him, of course, he leads the category, so he's a part of it. Of course, Gohan and Piccolo. Rosé is actually a part of this because of inhuman deeds. Bojack is there, Cooler is there, Piccolo is there, Beerus is there. So 8 out of 10. I think it's safe to assume that a majority, more than half of the characters on the next banner for Buuhan are going to fit Buuhan's category leads, if I can find them right here, of power absorption and transformation boost, which is actually going to be very special because when we look at the categories, right, power absorption and also transformation boost, they're kind of missing a new leader per se. Of course, you know, 9th anniversary Broly isn't that old quite yet, so he's of course a new lead for it technically. Bootanks, he's an old character in terms of release timing, but he got the EZA earlier this year in the 9th anniversary or later for Global, so he's still a really good unit who leads the category, but they are missing another new option for the leaders, and Buuhan is going to fit that, so that's very nice. When it comes to the banner, that means potentially we're probably going to see the Int Buu right here. We're probably going to see him on the banner, maybe Android 21. I'm thinking one may be interesting here is we're going to see the Super 17 unit. I actually don't know if they've come back this year, but I think they have, but I just can't remember. But they may come back as well, so that could be interesting. The Tech Exchange Buu, I would not be surprised if they're part of this as well, so we could see that. Transformation boost, I doubt we're going to see a lot of these heavy kind of powerful units, of course the LRs and everything. I don't even know which URs we may see. I doubt we're going to see Same-Day Vegeta, maybe Hirudegarn. Maybe Hirudegarn could come back potentially. I don't think Kale is going to come back. I believe Kale was part of Slug's banner, wasn't he? I mean, am I tripping? Let me see, because yeah, she was a part of Slug's banner, so she's not going to come back anytime soon. Yeah, I guess those are really kind of the options. It'll be interesting to see what they have in store for us, but also, this is something I've been noticing a lot of people kind of excited for with the reveal of Buuhan, and I actually agree with this, is that, you know, one thing we also have to pay attention to is with these banners, right? One character gets a Super EZA within the banner, right? So with Frieza, he was our Super EZA for the Vegeta banner. For Slug, Beerus was the EZA or the Super EZA for this banner. So we can expect potentially a Super EZA within the Buuhan banner who is also a part of the featured SSR list. And a lot of people, myself included, are going to be expecting that a Super EZA is going to be coming for this Int Buuhan right here. This Int Buuhan, by the way, of course he's old, came out back in 2016, part of that old, you know, god system of leader skills where it was like the Int type specific, you know, 70% leader. Got the EZA 2019, so he is very much due for a glow up. His link set, by the way, actually works outstandingly well, along with the LR physical Bootank / Buuhan. Their link sets work outstandingly well with this other new tech Buuhan right here. So this could be a very exciting thing, of course. With the super attack effect and the leader skill, those will not change, of course, but the 30% chance for transforming with greater power, the debuffing, that could be kind of nice. The passive skill, you know, he has HP recovery and the final blow stuff right there. So we could see some interesting stuff right there. I'm not sure what they would do with the Super EZA if they did it, but, I mean, he's got some nuking capabilities. I'm excited to see what he can do, and also, he fits onto a lot of categories as well. Majin Buu Saga, Transformation Boost, Artificial Life Forms, a lot of the same categories, really, so this could be a very, very, very fun time for sure, to see what he can be coming. If he gets a Super EZA, that would be very awesome, but we have a lot of things to figure out, of course. The other thing also I want to kind of touch on is what potential EZAs could we get? Because usually with the end of November Dokkan Fest, right, we don't typically get a lot of EZAs that come during this time, right? We usually go through the motions going towards the middle of December with the Carnival LR, with the end of December Dual Dokkan Fest, so we really don't see that many EZAs. But when it comes to Majin Buu Saga, there are a lot of characters who are still due for an EZA, right? Of course, we see Vegeta right there from when he fights Kid Buu, so he could be arguably an option for a EZA. The two Super Saiyan 2s right here, they're due for an EZA. I actually will say, I don't think they should get theirs quite yet because I feel like they are not exactly related to this period in time in the Majin Buu Saga story with Buuhan, so I feel like it's not appropriate to have them get their EZAs, but I mean, I'm more than happy to get their EZAs to come as well, don't get me wrong. So they could be there, the Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Kid Buu right there, so we could see some Super EZAs, of course, with those kind of characters. But it's going to be very interesting, of course, for sure. Again, this is something I was not expecting at all, so I actually have no idea what they're going to have in mind, how they're going to cook. My expectations based off recent history and like last year what happened is we're probably not going to see that many EZAs, maybe one specific LR EZA, and if that's the case, then Vegeta's probably going to get the EZA because he's the only LR in this bunch right here who is part of the Majin Buu Saga, so that'd be kind of sick right there. But we'll have to wait and see, of course, see what they got cooking, and man, this is going to be very exciting. Also, by the way, I do want to touch on this because a lot of people are saying it. Everyone is now expecting that Carnival LR, whoever the Carnival LR is going to be for the middle of December, is going to be the part 2 LR, basically, to the Tech Buuhan. First of all, that probably is not going to be the case, because if we remember, for the past few years now, the Carnival LR is not exactly correlated to who the end of November Dokkan Fest is going to be. So, like, for the 7th year end of November Dokkan Fest, that was in Yamcha, if you guys remember. Let me see if I can, like, pull him up, maybe, like, if I can, like, search him or something. But, you know, in Yamcha was that end of November Dokkan Fest 2 years ago. And he was, like, the, whatever, Dokkan Fest. After him came the Carnival LR, and that was the Hachiyak movie Goku. So those two are not exactly related. Afterwards, I mean, where's Yamcha? Jeez, I'm mixing up all my people. Yamcha, where are you? Yamcha. I can't find Yamcha. Where is Yamcha? Not an Earthling anymore. What the heck is going on? There he is. There's Yamcha. There's the goat. Okay, there we go. So Yamcha, I lost him for a sec. Yamcha, yeah, he was the end of November Dokkan Fest. Carnival LR, Goku came afterwards. He was Hachiyak movie. Those were not correlated. Of course, if we keep pushing it forward, right, then we go into, like, the androids category, right? Because that was where 21 came into play last year. She came out, of course, by the end of November Dokkan Fest, and then right after, the middle of the December month, Carnival LR was the Super Saiyan trio, right, from the Super Android 13 movie. So, I mean, they aren't exactly correlated with each other, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll see something very interesting. If we do see a Carnival LR that's associated with this whole Majin Buu saga, I'm going to say it right now. Let me go ahead and pull back the category right now, because I'm going to say it right now. Y'all probably know where I'm going to go ahead and get at this with. We need to see a freaking Carnival LR Kid Buu. What is going on, Dokkan? Please, like, it's almost been 10 years since we've had this game out, and we have not had a single LR Kid Buu, let alone, we haven't had an LR Kid Buu. Let me just say it like that. We need a Carnival LR. People, comment down below. Are you in agreement with me on this? Please, like, share this point, share this plea with everyone, please. Dokkan gods, please, Omatsu, please, I'm begging you, like, Carnival LR Kid Buu, please, man. That'll be the dream come true. I'm sure it's probably not gonna happen. I saw some people memeing that we're gonna get LR Kefla. It's gonna be a joke and everything. I pray to God. I pray it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry literal tears. And I don't have a face cam or nothing, but you guys are gonna hear me crying. Probably is what's gonna happen if we don't get it Carnival LR Kid Buu and instead get a Carnival LR Kefla or something like that. I'm gonna be sad. But it's going to be very interesting to see for sure what we're going to do with the end of the month, right? Of course, end of November, going towards December, the final month of the year, of course, which is a happy time for the holidays and everything. But also, I mean, it means we're coming towards the end of the 9th year of Dokkan, and it's been a blast. I mean, I may make a separate video on this to talk about this point, but I think the 9th year as a whole, as a collective whole, has been the best year of Dokkan. I don't think there's really been any sort of, like, L's or flaws throughout the entirety of this year. Yes, some units have been underperforming, but at the same time, I think as a whole, as an overall year, every part of the 9th year has been a very good high, in my personal opinion. So I'm very hyped about this year, seeing how it's going to go ahead and end, of course, with the new Tech Buuhan and the Grand Supreme Kai as well. This is going to be a very exciting thing to see, of course. But yeah, this is going to be very fun for sure. In any case, that's going to be it for the vid. I did kind of ramble a bit there, but if you guys enjoyed the vid, be sure to drop a like down below and also subscribe to the channel to show your support to me and the content that I do. It really does mean the world to me to see your support. And comment down below, are you guys going to pull for the new Tech Buuhan when he drops? Let me know down below. And also check out some of the other vids on the screen right here in front of you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.